everybody. Welcome to day 9 of 100 days of magic. I know Mercury retrograde is just upon us in this moment because 45 seconds before I started broadcasting, I live on the 3rd floor and someone was moving their dishwasher down the stairs with the clunk, 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 which makes the whole place vibrate. And of course, the dog goes crazy and on and on. And here we are a few minutes. But that is definitely a Mercury retrograde moment. So we'll hope that we don't have any more technical issues for the rest of this session. I am your host of this series, 100 Days of Magic, Donna Woodwell. I am also the proprietor of this space, the Crossroads of Magic and Mastery, as well as the headmistress of the School of Magic and Mastery. I'm so glad you are here today to tune in to our most recent episode in the escapades of magic. Hello, Boris, Michelle, welcome. Glad you are here. Melissa, I'm sorry, glad you are here. And I am going to talk about our spirit body today. Our spirit body as a vehicle for how we move between the worlds. But before I get into the meat of that, if you've got any questions, comments, things you'd like to share with the group while we are talking, feel free to put them in the chat space in the comments area. Feel free to chat with one another. We learn more from each other as we go through our journeys. You should never neglect to be present to other people. Hello, Claudia. Hello, Joanne. Everyone has been chiming in on the replays and on the live sessions, and that is totally epic. You are also more than welcome to share anything from this group anywhere you like. It is set up as a public group so that everything can be shared in other locations. We do that because it's a group designed not just to see what other people are up to, but to be able to help each other share our work in the larger world. So anything that gets posted here, you guys can share the love on your own sites, on your own groups, on your own pages, so that we can all help each other continue to spread the word about magic in all of its forms. All right? Enough said about the housekeeping stuff. Let's talk about why you're really here today, our spirit bodies. Now, when I was doing my magical training, for those of you who don't know, I spent 10 years in training with a woman from a shamanic Native American tradition, and I spent another 5 years in training with someone in a Hermetic tradition. So I had 15 years of formal magical training, like in the old-fashioned sense, where you sit and you learn directly week by week from the masters that you are working with. So I feel very blessed that I had a relationship kind of like, the Carlos Castanedas of the world, with someone actually doing the practice. So back in the days when I was sitting in my shamanic circles, it's about 10 years of coming every Friday, week after week, going and sitting in Native American inspired ceremonies. My teacher had lived on a Native American reservation, had married into the tribe, one of the medicine families of the tribe, and with their permission, was sharing what she had learned so that she could remain connected to that kind of energy. So as you are learning to work in altered states of awareness, the basic first thing you learn is how to take care of your own spirit body. Now, our spirit bodies are just the interface between that divine spark within us and our physical selves as we manifest down here in the world. They're the glue that holds all those pieces together. And different cultures in the world have different maps of what we call a spirit body, for lack of a better term. If you are working in an Indian tradition, it's going to have 7 chakras, maybe some small chakras. If you're working in a Chinese tradition, they're going to have those energy meridians that are used in acupuncture. All of these can be useful models depending on the circumstance that you are working with. But we also have to remember that they're all models that our 3-dimensional consciousness constructs to help us approach something that is intangible. So in my own practice and in working with all of my students, I found it easy to keep it as simple as possible, which comes down to this. We sit at the crossroads of the above, the divine, the heavens, and the below, the earth, our physical beings. And so when I talk about our spirit body, I encourage everyone to get in touch with an imagined construct that you are stretched as a pillar of light with your energy sinking all the way down into the earth, anchored to the beating pulse of our planet, but also stretched up high overhead to a star in the distant cosmos. The star in the distant cosmos represents your higher divine spark. The pulsing heart of the planet represents you connected to the energy of the earth, the being that gives us our three-dimensional forms. Okay? And in that stretch, you realize that we are literally spiritual beings having a physical experience. We sit at the crossroads. We exist at the crossroads of heaven and earth, which is why magic is always done at the crossroads of heaven and earth. We are beings created to make magic, to bring spirit down into material form. So in all of the ceremonies that I do with my own students in our own groups, tap in over and over again with this sense of the spirit body being all of us connected to that star in the sky all the way down into the ground. And then that energy is wrapped in a cocoon of light that gives us a sense of identity, a sense of safety, but also the ability to relate to everything else around us. And in some way, shape, or form, all of my ceremonies, all of my guided visualizations, they become ceremonies when you're bringing in spirits that you're working with. Include this as a basic maintenance function, because if you, as you're exercising your own imagination, it's super helpful to use this as a construct, because the more you work with this image, the more you realize how much power you have over your own imagined experience. It helps us relate to ourselves as spiritual beings. And it helps us connect to that bright light within us, the divine spark, as well as our imagination and where it enables us to travel. So I highly recommend, for those of you who are listening to me today, to begin to work with the construct of your spiritual body, because you are more than just the kickable parts of you. And the kickable parts of you take their pattern and energy from the spiritual parts of you. And that was part of our training in ceremonial circles. Part of our responsibility was to make sure that we were clearing out, cleaning out, and keeping that spiritual vehicle as bright as possible, so that we could do all of the rest of the work that we were called to do in service of the earth, in service of the spirit, in service of the divine within ourselves. And to do that, again, you just need to imagine it, connect to the earth, and allow yourself to let go of all the stuff that you're carrying around that you don't need anymore. All of the momentary stresses, all of the fears, all of the stuff we project onto other people. We learn how to let it go. Let it go, sink into the ground, let the earth is so very good at changing one thing into another. It's the grand recycler of all of us. And so if you can imagine anything heavy and dark falling down into the earth so the earth can send it where it needs to be, that's just a basic level of daily maintenance. You can do it while you're in the shower. It's just part of your daily grooming. You can do it before you go to sleep at night as part of your ritual of the day for getting ready to sleep with a clear mind. You can do it first thing in the morning as part of a meditation practice. Doesn't really matter. Once you get used to it, doesn't take longer than a few minutes a day. And that vehicle then becomes the basis for all of your psychic journey work, as well as for all of your magical spell work. The thing that they don't necessarily tell you in all of these books back here that are filled up with spells and stuff is that magic is more than just pulling out a recipe book and following the directions and poof, you have created something. Magic is so much more potent when you can relax and center and be in your spirit body and recognize that the ingredients that you're working with in your spells are also in their spiritual bodies. You take your whole magical practice up to another level in which you recognize that you are changing the templates of things. You aren't just mixing ingredients down here in 3 dimensions. You are working on multiple levels, and as you do that, you will find that the shifts come faster and with more precision than they ever have before. So we will be working with these spirit bodies over the next weeks of our exploration of magic. It's the way we open up our psychic selves. It's the way we connect to our spirit guides when we are seeking information for any kinds of things like doing hands-on healing or doing our astrological readings or anything else that requires us to get deeper. It's the basic. It's like the calisthenics for starting a process in the gym. You clear out your spirit body so that it can be the vehicle that it needs to be for doing the rest of your spiritual work. Okay? So for homework today, why don't you try it out for yourself? Pull up, dust off that imagination. Imagine you are a spiritual being and you extend all the way in a column of light into the earth, connected to the center of the earth, all the way up into the heavens to a distant star in the heavens, feeling the energy coming from both directions and mixing in you as you shine it out into the world. And see what happens. See what you feel like. Spend a minute doing that, breathing up from the earth and down from the heavens. And see how your perception of how you're moving through the world changes. All right? Okay. Any questions about what we've talked about today? I see we have a bunch of people here who are in my ceremonies often. What do you think of this practice? Some of you have been doing it for several years now. While I take a little sip of coffee. It's decaffeinated. It's okay, right? You're all quiet today. You think it was like a Friday or something. All right, I give you one more minute to ask questions. Pat says, I do this connection before pulling my daily card of the day, my daily divination card. Excellent. Boris says, magical is an understatement. What do you mean by that? You know, it's kind of fun to try to talk about an entirely magical life, a huge practice in 15 minutes a day, little bite-sized pieces. Because so much of everything is connected to other things. I consider this my own personal, my own personal magical practice for the fall. Claudia says, breathing from the earth and down from the sky was a practice I learned with Prana Vida, and I'm trying to do it at any occasion if I don't forget. Joanne says, it helps me to get grounded. All good things. It's one of those practices that is so deceptively simple, but again, has ripple effects. The thing about learning the techniques of magic is that it's not some woo-woo thing. It literally changes the way your brain fits together. And it will make you more creative. It will help you navigate and handle stress. It will increase your vitality. It will give you more energy. It will keep you more flexible as you go through life, less reactive, more capable of choosing how you respond. All these things you get in the practice of magic, which is why I don't understand why people wouldn't want to do this. It helps you think better because you get more stuff that you get to use in your process. Pat says it's becoming automatic when I sigh in a surrender mode. Even better. Automatic is good. I know my magical practice over the years has changed everything about how I feel as I move through my days in ways that are very difficult to describe. I besides being 10 times more comfortable in my own skin, there's a certain lack of fear, especially when dealing with the unknown, that I find invaluable. Hence why I believe that this is something that can help so many people. And I will keep showing up and offering it to anyone who wants to give it a try, especially since it doesn't require you to do anything other than close your eyes. Allow yourself to sink in the ground, connect to the earth, and up to the heavens. Okay? All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. Again, these videos are free for all of you. Feel free to share them with your friends. Keep commenting. Keep sharing your stories. Maybe we will all inspire each other on this epic journey that we find ourselves on. So, until the next time, I will talk to you all tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're talking about tomorrow, but I'm sure it will be magical. And give me a few minutes and I will figure it out. Until then, take care. Bye.